Alright folks, small collection video discussion. This is more of a discussion video, but at the end of the video, I'll share the cards in the thumbnail that you guys looked at. I just want to read a little story of these. This is a small collection purchase here in Florida. This is a gentleman all the way from Alaska. I know, right? I've never been there. I always thought, I've heard it's like gorgeous. But anyways, so this gentleman says there's only like 2 LGSs in Alaska, okay? I don't want to give the names of any particular companies for positive or negative or any form of influence. I don't want people to bash or love. I just want to keep it very neutral. But his issue was he has some older cards, and he had a hard time trying to sell them locally in his area. And I'm assuming that's probably just because, again, 2020 environment. We're dealing with very vintage legacy era Magic cards. And again, we're dealing with, in the thousands of dollars. So, I can't really blame the LGS because it's going to be difficult for them to want to, say, even because he claims he was frustrated because the LGS in Alaska was only offering 25 cents on the dollar, 25% of value. And everybody knows, even scumbag, creepy, terrible Rudy, even in the worst time earlier in the year, in the March, April, when nobody wanted to do anything, I was offering 30 to 50 cents on the dollar. And that was the lowest. Right now, like looking at the average buy list from 3 of the big dogs out there, you're looking at averaging between 45 and 75 cents on the dollar, depending on the condition and the particular grade of the card, because it kind of swings percentage-wise. So on average, I think that's 65 cents on the dollar is what it comes out to net for cash. But the point was, I want to comment on a couple of things, because he says on here he was frustrated by 25%, 25 cents on the dollar. That's a little rough. But he also says the store focuses on other tabletops, Warhammer, Star Wars, different tabletop board games, and things like that. And I think that's the bigger issue here is, remember, if you go to a local game store and the owner or the individual there really says, okay, you've got, I don't know, an Arabian Nights set and it's worth retail $8,000 or something. And, it's like, well, the buy list, even, for all the big stores around the country is showing a buy list of around, I don't know, $3,500 to $6,500, depending on what your conditions are. So if the store locally only says, I'll give you like $1,000, it's that's rough. That's kind of a nice way of saying they don't really have the capital or the customer base, or that's not really something they're comfortable in dealing in. So the only way they'd really want to do the transaction is if it's such a low risk, low dollar amount. In other words, they're getting their cost basis so low, even if something goes wrong or some of the cards are fake and they're not comfortable, they're trying to enter it very cautiously. That's usually the mindset of some of these smaller stores. And you can't really fault them because they may not have the capital. And again, in 2020, that's why pretty much Magic stores around the country completely went cold turkey on buying even most reserve list, Alpha, Beta, Arabian. They just shut it down because it's just too much money and nobody really knew how bad things were going to get when we hit that infamous March, April, about second quarter of 2020. When things were just in, the stock market, the equity and debt markets were in free fall, all the theme parks were shutting down, cruise lines. Everything was just in a really scary moment, and everybody's being very defensive. And, some little mom and pop store, they don't know what's going on. If somebody walks in trying to sell an Alpha set for $100,000 and then things get worse, they're bankrupt. So that's kind of what I hear and see when I hear stories like that. And again, I don't know what they were doing before this. Maybe their prices were the same, and maybe that's just how they pay. I don't really know. But the point was, you can usually kind of get a vibe for how much the store actually wants to buy a collection based on the response. See, when people contact me, they say, Rudy, I've got a modern collection of just a bunch of modern staples and fetch lands and cards and all kinds of neat things and lilies and snappies. And you see, I say, look, I'm not the best person to contact and buy those kind of cards. I pay terrible prices for modern cards because I'm very bearish on those single cards. Now, there's a few exceptions on some of those cards, but overall, I'm very negative. Now, if you have those in a sealed box, then I'm very bullish long term. I know it's kind of weird sounding. But overall, so for me, if you approach me with that, I usually tell people, look, sell it yourself on eBay, TCG Player, go locally for cash, or I guess a event or something that used to happen, and try to get the most money for cash locally or doing that. Coming to me, I'm gonna give you a terrible offer because I don't have a good method of sorting, handling, and managing those era of Magic cards. So I can relate when a store does a similar approach with vintage. Especially, what if they're not comfortable looking at counterfeits or real ones, or grading, the price difference between a Bazaar Baghdad that's in mint condition versus heavy played condition. I mean, we're talking major price swings. If you have a unlimited, Mox Pearl, I mean, the price difference from heavy played to mint condition isn't 10-20%. It's literally like 100% price difference. Like a heavy played, Mox Pearl could be like $1,000 buy list. I don't know if these are good or not, but it's just an example. And a mint condition one, perfect from a pack, could be a $2,000. I mean, you're literally, so the price can swing 100% in percentages. I mean, $1,000 swing on one card based on exact percentages. So you got to be real careful to make sure if you're a store owner and you're careful on your capital. Anyway, so I'm going to swap over to the camera view. I'll show you guys these couple cards, and I want to talk to you all about also the collector's edition cards. People keep asking me about collector's edition cards, and I know I never talk about collector's edition cards much. Just the CEs and the ice cards, collector's edition, international collect. Because again, I know they're neat looking. It's just not my thing, but I do deal in them. I do buy them. But all right, so let's swap over. Let's take a look at these things. They're still pretty cool. Boop, boop, and the magic of YouTube. So here we go. We've got literally 3 ice cards. We've literally got 2 dual lands. And then we've got kind of an interesting little variety there. So again, just a small little batch of cards to talk about. We don't need the box. Just to kind of talk to you guys about it all. And there's very interesting conversations with these 3 being all gold border. Just to remind you all, these are all gold border cards. These are not beta cards. These are just... Oh, wait, can we even show her? I don't even know. Yeah, we can show her. I was like, is she... I didn't even notice the card sleeves. I was like, wait a minute. That should be the thumbnail of the video. I didn't even... Wait, what's with her eye? Oh, my goodness. All right, so yeah, these are international... well played, Stuart. You totally caught me off guard with the sleeves. All right, so these collector's edition cards in the back continue to be the slow, quiet moving ones. I never go out of my way to buy these particular cards because I just don't connect with these type of cards. They were really cheap for the longest time, not tournament legal, blah, 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 which I think those rules don't even matter anymore. But when you buy and deal in these particular cards, the most important thing, obviously, usually they're very off-centered, which is very normal. Are these all ice or some of these? Collectors, so some are... That sleeve cracks me up. So the biggest thing to look for on these cards is the very sensitive corners, and then also the gold in the back. The edges, the gold tends to come off. Let me get real close there. The gold edging tends to be very sensitive, and the gold actually will come off the card. That's the first thing that tends to wear on these type of cards. So you do kind of have to be really careful. And also, like I said, look for the pointy corners. These things, they're so sensitive to wear. You got to be really careful when it comes to those type of cards. That was the first reason I was never a big fan, but I know there's a huge market for these cards, especially as the alpha betas continue. The black border, alternative continues to get really, really pricey. These are going to continue to be more attractive to people joining the game with new stuff and eventually going to older cards. These are going to be more attractive and affordable. Because I think even as I'm filming this video, I think you can buy these on eBay. Aren't they only a couple $100 each? Like $300 to $400 a card? Maybe the Sapphire's more. But I think they're only a couple $100. I think the Lotus may be a couple $1,000 now. If you can, about what, $2,000? And then after shipping and fees, you can maybe net, what, $1,500, $1,600 or something? Depending on the exact condition. But revised dual lands, I'm not going to talk much about today, everybody. Continuing to hit record high prices for revised. Absolutely unbelievable. I just really want to lay that out there. I hope you all, like we've talked about all year in the last 4 years on this channel, make sure you have your nice dual land set of revised, the cornerstone of all Magic collectibles, period. I've always felt that way. I still feel anyone serious long term, you gotta have your 10 original revised duels. That's like the prerequisite. That's like English 1101 or pre-cal 1101 or what? Introduction to economics. Like that's like just the admission to old school Magic and being a long-term collector, beautiful 3% lady, evil investor, I don't know, Tesla and on Pluto, whatever you're doing. You see what I'm saying? I feel those are the cornerstone. All right, but these are the 3 I get a lot of questions on these two. I feel these deserve a good conversation today. The force field, it's beta. Again, just like I said, as alpha beta gets more and more expensive over as the future unfolds, that's why I do think these will still be more and more attractive as an alternative that's cheaper. So really not much to really say about the beta card. Just make sure you're not buying a reback. Make sure you pay attention and check it. But these are the two cards I really wanted to focus on. Let's start with the Mox Diamond, everybody. So this is kind of the whole, it's reserve list. It is Stronghold. Stronghold prices on booster boxes moved from about $1,300 a box to about $3,000 plus, or $3,300 a box. So they've tripled. So Stronghold boxes are essentially, at this point, they're over with. If you don't own them, you're not going to be able to buy them. The prices are never going to come back down. The people who have them have already cracked them, done box openings like me. I've cracked some on the channel. And the last few that are left in the world are just going to be... So the idea of any additional pack fresh Mox Diamonds being opened is essentially off the table. So I want to lay that out there. Number two, Sliver Queen and Mox Diamond continue. They are $1,000 cards. I'm a broken record. I've been saying it for years. People made fun of me when Sliver Queen was under 100, then it went to 150 and 2. Mox Diamond, same thing. People laugh, they say all this stuff, and I'm telling you, it's not if, but it's when it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. Make fun of me, thumbs down, whatever you got to do. I'm just here to tell you what's going on long term. It's the same thing with that Pokemon stuff. You can make fun of it all you want, but follow the money. And I'm telling you, these type of cards, they are, it's not tier 1 reserve lists like Dual Lands and Power 9, but these tier 2, Diamond, Sliver Queens, City of Traders, the Cradles, all these type of cards, they are so cheap for a 22-year-old card, and you can buy it for $200 on the open market? Come on! That's ridiculous. How do you think that's overpriced? It's an iconic piece of Magic history. And it's like $200. And you can buy it today for $200. Oh, Rudy, $200 for a card. Every card should be 3 cents. Yeah, okay, well then I can't discuss that further. But I'm tell you all, that's just where the market's headed. All right, I want to comment on this before we end the video today. A lot of people ask about these masterpieces, these lotteries, these expeditions, these Amonkhet invocations. I mean, look, I don't go out of my way. Like, if this gentleman contacted me with just this card or all masterpieces and expeditions, I would decline the transaction. How about that, everybody? I think they're beautiful. I think the Kaladesh masterpieces, I do believe, and I still stand by, they're probably the best looking, most beautiful, gorgeous, just lottery-style card pretty much ever made. Oh, it doesn't have the hot chick on the back. And I think that's a fact. And I have a hard time believing they're ever going to top that. That kind of copper bronze look with that. It's stunning. It's beautiful. The Mana Vault, the Soul Ring. What was the other ones in there? Was it Mana Crypt? No, just Vault. I don't remember. Dude, it was years ago. What year was it? 2015 or 2016? I can't remember. How long ago are we? 2016, 4 years ago. But I don't go out of my way to purchase or deal in those type of cards. Number one, like I always talk about, foils are very sensitive. Number two, with Wizards' direction of everything, it makes me nervous. Number three, there's always a risk that there's going to be another version that's prettier and fancier that's going to devalue and dilute the unique nature of that particular card. And that is something that makes me very nervous. I have no concerns over that. I have no concerns over these old black border cards. If it's original AB or if it's ice, it doesn't make a difference. Revised duels, those things get made fun of more than anything. Oh, Rudy, when the reserve list is broken, the revised dual lands are going to drop the most amount of value. Revised duels, Rudy. When the reserve list gets reprinted in your local Amazon, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, I'm telling you, these are going to be handed out with every Taco Bell party pack you go order on Grubhub's Uber Eats. And I'm like, okay. Well, I hope you didn't buy into that, because if you did, and you're watching Tundras and these things in pack fresh condition becoming $400, $500, $600, $700 a card, Underground Seas hitting records, Tundras hitting records, Volcanics hitting records, even the cheap plateaus, savannas, taigas, bayou, these things are going up. They're not going, it's been, they're 25 years old. If these new cards can go up in value and have demand, these are the originals, the OGs. And again, I think people made fun of me for accumulating and always buying revised duels, but I stand by them. I still do. So the only thing, like I said, I would say is use caution in this video is the masterpiece cards. These are cards that if you have them and you enjoy them, like I like it. I'm not going to sell this. I'll throw it in my vault with my other lottery cards from my mass box openings. But again, I don't go out of my way to deal with those. But these type of cards right here, these other ones, these things are just, you know, if people had said 5 years ago that they were going to be worth today's prices, people would have made fun of you. 10 years ago, they would have made fun of you 5 years ago. 15 years, everything's relative. And I promise you all, when 2021, 2023, and 2025 rolls around, and whoever you are watching this channel in 2025, and Rudy's retired, not making videos in 2025, I would like to remind you that these cards still, people make fun of the prices and think it's all a bunch of garbage, and the reserved list is going to be reprinted tomorrow morning. And for those of you watching in 2025, I hope you remember this, and it's an interesting look back. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you all are enjoying Magic the Gathering. Be safe. Enjoy your life. Enjoy the world. It's a beautiful place. Don't let that less than 1% of bad people get to you. Remember that, everyone. 99.9% of everyone out there, they are good people. Doesn't matter what everybody thinks in the anger, what you read about. Be careful with the news and online, the media. 99% of everybody, they're good people. Don't let that 1% really make it bad for you. I'm telling you. Even for those of you selling Magic cards on eBay, when that one person steals your card, hoses you, opens a dispute, don't treat everybody else, the other 99 customers you've sold to in the last 30 days, don't be angry because of one terrible person out there. I'm telling you, that's the #1 thing that brings people down. I'm telling you all. Be very, very careful with that, okay? That's all I have to say. And again, have a great day, everybody.